feel comfortable with, and find your messy, imperfect spot on the mat. All right, y'all. No other way to do it but imperfect. So we embrace what is. My mat is cold. I lay my spine out along it. Ooh, you might just feel those shoulder blades relax and spread against the earth. Can you do the same with the butt cheeks and the low back? Can you soften them? Can you feel the low back pressing against the earth here as you relax down? And then you might allow your mind's eye to travel down into the pads of the feet and keeping the toes soft, the legs relaxed. Can you feel the weight pressing through the pads of your feet? Can you let the pads of the feet soften? Maybe you imagine they too spread as they soften just a little bit. Relaxing and releasing even through the back of the head and the neck. Take a moment or two to breathe deep into your body. On your next inhale, send that breath down into the belly. Fill the lungs if that's nice, and then let it all go. Nose or mouth doesn't matter. Let it be messy. Another few breaths just like that. Deeply in, deeply out. Allow yourself to become present in this moment. You are here in your body. Your practice has begun, and everything else falls away in this moment. And it's just you, your mind, your body, and your awareness hanging out with me for the next 40 or so minutes. As you lie here, existing in the now, breathing into your body, we'll begin some movement. Letting the awareness drop down into the pelvic area. This is our Svanasana, right? This is our sacral chakra, the place just below the belly button, just above that tip of the tailbone. We often think of this as our sacral chakra, and we don't realize that it's 360, right? The front and the back, the whole pelvic bowl. So allow your awareness to drop into your pelvic bowl now, and let's do some shifting. So press through the pads of your feet, and then you're gonna rock your pelvic bowl. Tailbone rocks up towards the heart. So the bowl tilts this way, right? Pressing into the feet, curling that tailbone up towards the heart. You might even feel that the low back has lengthened here. Now relax any pressure through the legs and the feet. Let the pelvis release back down. Let's do that again. Take a deep breath into the belly. And then as you exhale, press through the feet, curl that tailbone towards the heart. Hold for a breath or two. Feel what's happening in the front of the pelvis now, right? Notice how the front of the belly has tilted up. These low belly muscles are engaged to support that. You might notice what heat builds here in the front of the pelvis. How this shortens in this moment as the backside lengthens, right? We're just here to create awareness, that's all. Release the pelvis, soften into neutral when you're ready. Let's take this the opposite direction. On a big inhale in, you're gonna rock that tailbone down towards the earth. And as you do this, you might feel the low back begin to lift or arch, right? Pressing that tailbone down. The low back arches, maybe a lot, maybe a little. There's no medal for either. And then you might notice now, instead of pressing through the pads of the feet, which maybe have no weight in them at all, you're pressing up through the back of the head, the shoulders, to arch the low back, to press that tailbone down. And then while you're doing this, breathe deep into the belly. Let that belly rise skyward. We are not ashamed of our beautiful bodies in every shape they take, and that shape waxes and wanes through life. And we invite each transformation. We embrace our beautiful wholeness despite what society might say. Nah, right? Your body is perfect. On an exhale of your choice, release the effort to a neutral pelvis. Take a moment to relax here. Let's do some back and forth with the Svedasana, right? With our sacral chakra. On an inhale, fill the belly deep. Exhale, press through the feet, curl that tailbone towards the heart. Inhale, press the tailbone down. Breathe deep into the belly, rocking that tailbone, or rocking that pelvic bowl, back and forth. Moving with your breath, right? Inhale as you arch the low back and press that tailbone down. Exhale as you curl it towards the heart. As you breathe, there is so much for your mind to notice. And here's where we'll talk about neuroscience for a moment. Our deep awareness builds neural pathways between your amygdala and your prefrontal cortex, right, which is your wise mind, thousands of times faster than when we move, when we exist without awareness. So as you hang out, as you move with the breath, you might simply feel how that deep inhale and exhale transforms the sensations in your body. You might notice as you do this how the weight transfers from the pads of the feet to the shoulders and the head each time you shift back and forth, right? So many things to get curious about. You could feel how the front body opens on each inhale and lengthens, pressing that tailbone down. You could feel then how the front body shortens on that exhale as the tailbone curls skyward. Right? Just noticing the lengthening and the shortening of the front body here. Now, this is the same movement we're doing, but it's so layered with our awareness. And you can pick up on any little detail that you like. And all of these details, maybe the shortening and the lengthening of the back body, right? It shortens as it arches, lengthens as it curls. We just create awareness. This is how we befriend the body. This is not only helping us with vagal toning. We've got some vagal nerves that run through the pelvic bowl down into the thighs here that are getting a lot of attention. But we're building that interoception, right? Mind-body connection. Your work might feel so simple and yet wicked powerful. All right, soften into stillness here. We're also creating strength, releasing tension. From here, you might grab that strap around your shin or simply draw your knee up in towards the heart. Bracing or not is up to you. We're going to continue the pelvic bowl shifts, moving with the breath. And we're just going to keep the knee elevated. And you might notice as you exhale and curl that tailbone up, that the knee reaches up as well. And as you inhale, make space for the air in your belly and tilt that pelvic bowl away. The knee rocks away. It's awesome. It's supposed to happen. We're getting deep into your iliosacral muscle area here on the left side. This is great for your SI joints. Moving with the breath. A deep psoas release here as well. So low back and hip tightness get addressed. Beautiful. From here, straighten that leg skyward, and then pressing through the heel, slowly lower it down towards the earth until that heel touches. And we're really pressing length into this left leg. We're lengthening through this whole front left hip flexor here. And then begin again the pelvic tilts. So when you're ready, on an inhale, fill the belly deep. As you exhale, you might press through the pad of that right foot, curl the tailbone up towards the heart and hold it. We're not really using this left foot at all, right? You're relaxing it, leaving it soft, that whole left leg. So the effort now is only in the right leg as the tailbone curls skyward. And we just notice what we feel. A little lopsided, not even, right? Maybe you feel the stretch in a bit of a different place, maybe not. We're just here to notice and become aware. And then release when you're ready. Soften, let go, pelvis neutral. And then on that inhale, arch the low back, press the tailbone down. This is going to feel a little more usual because we still have the whole head and both shoulder blades to press into. But let's start our breath flow. On an exhale, press through that right foot, curl the tailbone towards the heart. Inhale, arch the low back, back and forth. Again, addressing these deep hip and low back muscles that don't get a lot of our time and attention, but they carry an enormous amount of our emotion. Beautiful. A few more times at the flow of your own pace. And then soften into neutral. Bend that right knee, switch sides, drawing that right knee up towards the heart. And then begin your pelvic tilts. Inhale, exhale. Relaxing your jaw and tongue. Each time your mind wanders away, each time you get distracted, invite it back into what's happening in the pelvis, into all these different layers, whichever layer interested you most, right? Invite the mind there. Allow it, train it to become present through repetition. Another breath or two if that feels nice. And then we'll extend that right foot skyward. Press through that heel. Slowly lower. Really pressing the length as we lower it down nice and slow. And then again, when you're ready, the pelvic bowl tilts. Inhale. Press the tailbone down. Exhale. Curl it up. Moving with the breath. Inviting deep awareness. Again and again. Because the mind will wander. In polyvagal theory, you have your ventral vagal and dorsal vagal nerve bundles that run down through the pelvis. The dorsal vagal runs through the thighs as well. And these vagal nerves are part of our parasympathetic nervous system. Part of what helps us become present and embodied. And so we're stimulating these vagal nerves through these movements and deep breaths. Through awareness and slowness, we invite healing, right? Vagal toning is being present as you stimulate your vagal nerve bundles and training them to react differently to how you experience life, right? That's what we're doing here. Deeply ancient, deeply modern. When you're ready, bend that right knee in. Check in with that sacral chakra. Your sacral chakra, Sviti, if you read the newsletter I sent out, is Sanskrit for delicious, but it's also Sanskrit for delightful, right? Precious. Like when you go to a restaurant and you get like a gold flake cookie, right? Like this is your sacral chakra. It is, so Sviti is like delicious, delicate, precious. And then you have sthana, which is an object of importance or something that's very important, right? Your pelvis doesn't have to be an object. But this chakra, we learned last week that our Muladhara is our root essence. That's what it means. And then here we have our delicious object of importance, right? And so our sacral chakra, this is where we get our self-expression. This is where we get our passion. This is when we think of the sacral chakra, we have our reproductive organs here, right? Our hips carry a lot of emotion. They also express a lot of passion through dance. All of this happening right here in this chakra. And as you learn to move it, breathe into it, and become aware of it, you also are healing it, right? You're allowing energy to move through it. Your chakras are drawn in ancient practices as wheels, right? And I think of the energy through your chakra like a water, like a river, pouring through you. And these are water wheels, just moving that river, allowing you to continue to be a part of the flow of life, right? So sometimes our chakra wheel gets stuck, right? Because we forget about it, or we're ashamed of this place of our body, or we get too busy, or it's just too effing much to take time and heal whatever is happening here. And so all we're doing together is exactly that. We're healing. And you don't have to, dig through all your trauma, all of these things. We can move and breathe with awareness and begin to get some movement in that sacral wheel, right? So that we can continue to just flow with life. So for our continued awareness, bringing your awareness to your hips, you might place your hands on either side of your hips. And we're just going to take a shift to the left and the right. So when you're ready, that right hip is going to shift up towards the armpit, right? Just like this. So your right side body here, as you hold this, shortens. You might feel that your left side body has lengthened to sort of accommodate this hip shift. You might also notice that you're pressing more strongly into the pad of that right foot to really reach that right hip up towards that armpit. Just take a moment and notice, any pressure or effort in the back of the neck as you hold this hip shift. Keeping the jaw and tongue soft as you remain present with your physical body, just exploring and noticing. And then relax the pelvis into stillness. From here, that left hip shifts up towards the armpit. As you do, notice, become aware of the layers that are happening here. The foot, the side bodies, the breath. Maybe you notice it's easier to breathe into the right side of the body here. As your hips are shifted, maybe you experience something different with the breath. Notice. You are your own expert. The more you spend time with yourself here, the more you're going to believe me and you when I say that. When you're ready, relax the hips into stillness, and let's move just like we did before with the breath. So on an inhale, right hip shifts up. Exhale, switch sides. Inhale, shift, exhale, shift. Moving with big, slow body breaths, really exploring your range of motion. of your hips here. Back and forth. Really pressing into the pads of those feet as the hips shift. Feeling your strength even just in this low area of the body. A few more times, letting these be maybe the biggest, strongest, most delicious stretches you've explored. And then relax the pelvis into stillness. We're going to do some hip circles, and it's going to be funky because these would be more traditional standing up and the floor will impede some of our movement, but I invite you to use that awareness as an extra layer, right? The floor becomes an extra layer instead of a nuisance to our practice. So relaxing the pelvic bowl, allowing your mind's awareness to drop down into your Svedasana. Wow, my tongue cannot do it. Do that. Svedasana. Allowing your mind to travel down into the sacral area. Deep breath in, send it to the pelvic bowl and release. Find your breath in your body first. It's like when I was a kid trying to pronounce mayonnaise. Took me till I was like 17. Find the breath deep in that pelvic bowl. And then let's move. Begin the back and forth, tilting that tailbone up and down, just like we started. Pressing into the pads of the feet as that tailbone curls up. Inhale, press it down towards the earth. Find that back and forth rock. Now, bring a circular motion to it, right? Bring in that side to side. Can we do big pelvic circles using all of our awareness, right? Focusing on any layers of your movement that draw you present, that get you curious. Continuing in whichever direction you've chosen, big, messy, weird, awesome hip circles. And then pause and switch directions. Maybe you already have. The exploration is beautiful. Moving with the breath. Like a messy pelvic cat-cow, right? Big circles, or scraping the peanut butter jar, but only with the pelvis. Maybe you're just focusing on movement in your pelvis that feels delicious and delightful. Do it. Let it be yours. Know that what you've chosen is right and powerful. And then let it soften into stillness. Y'all, our low backs will be talking to us tomorrow and you'll be thinking of me, but in good ways. I hope, cross your fingers. From here, we're gonna do some big twisting and some SI joint stretching. So I'm gonna walk my feet closer to my glutes so that I can really press them down into the earth. And then from here, go ahead and cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Finding a figure four, the heel of that left hand finds that upper left thigh at that hip crease. Press it away from the body. And we talk about this in seated yoga a lot. When you press the thigh away, you're also rolling out, right? You'll see this a little easier on the right side, but pressing the thigh out and rolling it away. Just a gentle opening here. You might hang out just like this. You might invite that right knee up towards the heart. Now I do this often by just grabbing that left foot and knee. You might loop it on through. My other favorite is wrapping my strap around that right shin. I've got a new strap coming to me. Mine did not survive. From wherever you are, right foot planted or right foot elevated, doesn't matter. We're going to slowly let the pad of this left foot roll on over towards the right. We're going to find a big twist. Maybe the pad of this left foot plants on the ground. Maybe it plants on a block or a blanket. You decide. Let it be messy. Allow yourself to change your mind. Find what's yours. And then if you would like, you might tee your arms out wide, pressing through your fingertips, and then relaxing those shoulder blades down towards the earth. Sometimes as the lower body twists towards the right and the upper body is twisting towards the left, your left shoulder blade, right? That's a lot of work. If that feels like too much tension on the rotator cuff, just rest that left hand on the chest or on the rib cage. Invite nourishment. However the body is asking for it. And know that it's beautiful. Now you might hang out just like this, or you might take your right hand now to that inner left thigh and press it away. You might even take this a step further, lift your head and turn your gaze towards the left. So whichever way those knees have rolled, the head turns the opposite direction. This gets into the spine from head to toe, deeply opening through the hips, the low back. Relax your shoulders. Let your body melt. Become a popsicle in summer just for a moment. The longer you hang out here, the more melty you get. Maybe your body shifts. Maybe it moves as you relax. As long as it doesn't hurt, as long as it feels nice or neutral, you might just let it be. Your messiness has beauty too. There are things to learn when we let go of the shame that surrounds it. When you're ready, lift the head, rotate it to neutral. We're going to roll our hips back up, and then keeping the ankle crossed. You might take your strap and loop it through this left thigh, or you might grab atop that left knee. We're going to pull that left knee gently up towards that right shoulder. So getting deep into those outer hip muscles. And then as you're doing this, you might notice that right knee wants to fall open. Squeeze those thighs together, right? We really want that right knee to remain tracking skyward as we pull as much as we would like this left knee across the body towards that right armpit. And then you might also play with the placement of this knee, right? You're looking for some sort of stretch in the gluteus medius, in that low left butt cheek hip area. Maybe you find a stretch that feels good and you hang out in stillness. Either way, squeeze those thighs. My right knee wants to open too. Soften and release when you are ready. And let's switch sides. Cross that right ankle. Press that thigh away. And you can just press it away, right? Or we press away and then roll out. Be where the body says yes this moment. What layer can you drop into? Maybe you can feel your hand pressing against that inner thigh. What does that pressure feel like to the thigh itself? Can you notice? What does the effort feel like in your arm, your hand, your fingers as you press? Can you notice the effort and the sensations in the hand and arm here? So many layers. If you would like, you might draw those knees up towards the heart. Be for a few breaths wherever you are. It is enough. You are enough. You might breathe that truth down into the pelvis. So often we're afraid of self-expression. We're afraid to show up as we are in all of our messiness and all of our truth because we worry it's not right, it's not enough, it's too much, it's too messy. And when we carry those thoughts, those beliefs, that wheel in the sacral chakra slows, right? It's like gum and goo in the gears. When you're ready, turn this into a twist. Let it be messy. Find where you want to be with those arms. Maybe you lift and turn the head. Maybe you press that inner right thigh away with that left hand. Which does your body want to be in? Be willing to get it wrong, get it right, get it messy. Shame, judgment, worry that we're not enough. It is gum in the gears of the chakras. It clogs the wheels up and they stop turning. And then we lessen ourselves. We become more quiet or more judgmental or less ourselves and more something else. All in an effort to be enough. And more gum gets in the gears of the wheel and the sacral chakra slows to a halt. And so it's here in these places we embrace the beauty of our mess. We embrace the fullness of who we are without shame. And we show up. Knowing we're going to screw it up again and again and again and again. Yes. And we're going to learn and grow and heal. And transform. And that we are enough. Exactly as we are. When you're ready, roll back up. These are big twists, so go nice and slow with the body. And then keeping that leg crossed again with the strap or not, we're going to invite that right knee across the body up towards that left armpit. And again, exploring the placement of the knee so that we can really get into what feels good in this right butt cheek, right? Take your time. Find your spot. Maybe there's a few spots. Maybe you're like, oh yeah, that's it. And then breathe space into any tightness that you're feeling. Let it soften. Let it relax. These areas of our body carry deep emotions, right? Those chakra wheels, the lives we lead in westernized society, gums them up, man. There's no way around it. So we hold all this energy in these places instead of letting it flow through us. And these stretches, these movements, these breath, these practices allow us to release and let go. The muscles and the fascia are a huge part of that. When you're ready, relax that foot on down. From here, heel toe the feet out wide as they go. You're going to feel probably the hips tighten. At some point, some part of your body will say that's enough, and you can listen. When you're ready, both knees fall inward. You're going to come up onto the blade edges of your feet, maybe. That's all right. We're pressing those inner thighs down towards the earth as we soften through the pelvis. Now you can hang out here in stillness, breathing space. You might even imagine with each breath in, you send it down into that sacral chakra, and it blows that gum and, grit and those little rocks and pebbles that have gotten in the way of the gears, right? And it sends them away to be flushed out of the body. With each breath in, you might just imagine the breath cleansing any sticky spots in that chakra wheel. Each breath in. You can hang out here in stillness, breathing that freedom into the pelvis for as long as you like. You might, as you move, begin to rock and tilt the pelvis here. Yes, we're gently pressing those inner thighs downward. Now be careful here with the ankles. It might feel best to plant through the pads of the feet as you do this, but you decide, right? Again, keeping those thighs pressed down, finding that pelvic tilt, noticing how it feels in this position. And again, this can be a lot on the muscles, especially towards the knees and the knee joints. So go slow and with awareness. We're not moving into pain or sharpness at all. We're just getting curious with what is. Beautiful. When you're ready, let the knees rise skyward. We're going to heel toe the feet inward. Bring the pads of the feet together. Let the knees fall open wide. Take a moment here in Supta Baddha Konasana to just relax. Now, if this doesn't feel nice, you can keep one knee elevated and one foot planted. You can keep both feet planted. Be where your body says yes. We move at the pace of the slowest part of our nervous system. So if you're doing something and your nervous system says, right? We can't just say, oh, you're being ridiculous. We have an opportunity to say, all right, I'm going to meet you exactly where you're at, right? And lift our knees together. As you hang out here, you might just soften those inner thighs and relax. You might continue to explore pelvic bowl tilts, finding new little muscles, new little layers to explore just by changing the placement of the legs. Now it can be very useful as you do this to press the pads of the feet together with each exhale, curling that tailbone up. Inhale, press the tailbone down, right? A few more just like this. Beautiful. And then if you would like, lengthen both legs out by pressing through the heels, just like we know. Ooh, and then soften through those front hip flexors as you relax the full length of your body. From here, let's get into the side body a little further up, just finding balance. We've done a huge amount to the lower body. On an inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. As you exhale, you're going to slide them both on over towards the left. And as you slide those arms, your head and your shoulders are going to follow. Almost like you're taking a big lean, right? The whole right side body lengthens. The whole left side body shortens. This sounds familiar. Where have we created awareness for this layer before? You might notice as your right side is lengthened that it feels good to send your breath into the right side of the body with each inhale. Can you allow your breath to be just a little bit of an extra stretch here? On an inhale of your choice, slowly slide the head and arms back upright. Exhale, switch sides. Walk it on over. Take it nice and slow. We're lengthening that left side body, reaching out and over through that left arm. Can you feel this up in that left armpit, maybe all the way to that left pinky? If you can, that's not just muscles, those are nerves as well you're getting into. Breathe space and length. A moment or two longer. Keeping the upper body where it is. Bend the knees, plant the pads of the feet once more. You might notice how some of this effort and stretching softens as you do. It's just a layer to notice. When you're ready, roll the head and arms, slide, shimmy back up to neutral. All right, we're gonna roll over onto the bellies. So, nice and slow. When you are ready, on the belly here, let's find a cobra or sphinx. So for sphinx, it's elbows beneath the shoulder blades, forearms and palms planted. And then we're gonna wiggle our pelvis. And you might even, if you're like me, you've got a belly, I'm gonna lift my beautiful tummy up so that my pelvis, my sacral chakra, can really feel its nice, strong foundation down into the earth. So here we are in Sphinx pose. If the low back is still talking to you, right, this is a great opportunity to widen your thighs out and then soften the legs. So you might hang out here. Either way, on an inhale, lift through the head and the heart as you press down through those forearms. As you lift through the head and the heart, can you squeeze the shoulder blades back? Right? Like there's a pencil between those shoulder blades. We're squeezing them, however imperceptibly in this moment. And then once more, anchor that pelvis down, that sacral chakra, press down into it. Let it lift the head and the heart just a little more. Here we are in Sphinx. You might hang out just like this. Let's take 5 breaths. Or you might slide the hands under the arms. And as you press down into the sacral chakra once more, lifting through the head and the heart, Press length into the arms, squeezing those shoulder blades back. A few more breaths wherever we are. And then soften, relax. Let the heart melt. If you're in cobra lowering, you're going to keep the elbows tucked in towards the side body. Melting down, maybe even until the forehead touches the earth. Can you relax through the length of the back of your neck? Can you follow that relaxation through the back of the neck down into the low spine? The butt cheeks, can you soften and melt the sacral chakra here? Letting it anchor its firm foundation in the earth. On an inhale of your choice, begin to lift. Take your time. Maybe it takes a few breaths to get there. Nice and slow, we rise, lifting through the head and the heart, melting through the pelvis, breathing into the body. I always forget to squeeze my shoulder blades here. I want to just like lift and press, when in fact the shoulder blades remain squeezed and we're lifting by pressing through the top of the head. Pelvis, sacral chakra, melty, melty, melty. And then on an exhale of your choice, melt the head, melt the heart, begin the release. We're not just building strength, we're not just releasing tension, we are healing our nervous system. We are healing our mind-body awareness. We are inviting ourselves to become present, to become aware, to befriend a physical body. That is one of our most beautiful tools in this journey on earth. Take a moment just to be. Let the heart melt down into the earth. You might end your practice here in lizard pose. What am I doing? Crocodile pose. Extending the arms above the head, stacking the forearms, letting the forehead melt down upon them. And for my chesty besties, I just coined that. That's a thing now. Bring a blanket. Elevate the arms, right? Make space for your breath in your chest here. And then rest the head. So do what feels good. This isn't supposed to be effortful. This posture is nourishment. It is just nourishment. So find what is most cozy. Maybe you're like, F this, and you roll over onto your back for a more traditional Shavasana. There are no rules but the ones you make for yourself. Honor your needs in this moment and melt. Surrender. Let the body grow heavy and messy wherever it lays. Imagine every muscle fiber in your body releasing and relaxing. Each exhale from your body softens even more little fibers, releasing any tension that might be stuck in those nooks and crannies. Let the body melt here. The jaw and shoulders soften. The heart grows gentle and heavy in its cradle on the earth. The hips, fully supported, can let go now. might bring your awareness one last time to the sacral chakra, to the whole of the pelvis, right? This space is 3D. And as you become aware of it here, breathe space into it. You might now, with each breath, once more send it in, to blow through, to brush through, to clear out anything in that sacral chakra that keeps you from knowing how precious you are, how delightful you are, how important you are. With each breath in, own those truths. Make space for them as you clear out the lies that have taken their place. For a moment or two longer, be here. Breathe space. Let go of those untruths that keep this wheel inside you stuck. Take all the time that you need here. Know that there's no rush. But when you're ready, you might begin a gentle awakening. Maybe stretch through the fingers and the toes. Let it be delightful. However you begin this awakening, let it become another layer of awareness for your practice. Choose movement that your body says yes, please to. I like to imagine that I'm my kitty cat Onyx, because she does not care. She'll roll around and be like, right? Because it feels good. I encourage you to do the same because it feels good, because your body says yes, please, because there are no rules here. Take your time finding a seat of your choice, whatever that might look like. Let it be messy. Let it be beautiful. You might end your practice with your palms at the heart center. You might even take that bow in the head. Either way, take a moment to thank yourself for showing up. Our practice was a lot. So as you move through the rest of your day, go gently. Breathe space into all the stuck parts that you encounter, and know that you are precious, that you are delightful, that you are worthy exactly for who you are in this moment. And remember that the light and the dark in me sees the light and the dark in you, and we are the same. Thank you for practicing with me, y'all.